It's great that you're all back. Now, the fact that you're in different seats from yesterday will reassure you that you are not stuck in Groundhog Day. We're not going back to the beginning of yesterday morning. I think we had a terrific day yesterday. I want to thank all of those who made presentations yesterday, and everyone who made interventions in the discussion. This, I think we're just off to such a good start. And you will have noticed and worked out from the program for today that we only have 2/5 to go. We're over the hump because we did 3 sessions yesterday. So yesterday was a real challenge to all of us, I think, just in terms of endurance. But I think it paid off. So a little bit of some practical things before we launch into the first session. And two things that I'm going to mention. One is, while you are all here, before you all flee for your planes and trains and what have you, and therefore say, oh, well, I wasn't there and I didn't hear, we're going to talk about, if I can get this to work, deliverables. And this is a snap from Sarah and my contract, and so this is important. Now, having said that, you are all under the misapprehension that you have months and months and months to do this in. Well, yes, you do in one sense, and I'm very glad that you do. But we would like to try to stick to this schedule. Now, I know, and you can see that the first date that is coming up, that hasn't passed already, is September 15th, 2014, which by my reckoning is actually more than 4 months away. And what we would really, really like is if you could send Sarah and me your next iteration by then. This doesn't have to be your final word, not at all, but just something that you feel is going to be the real basis of your chapters. Now, I know that many of you, probably all of you, have lots of commitments over the summer, and I know that this is going to put some, it makes a certain demand on you, but I think this is a good timetable because you can go away from this event with all these crazy things buzzing in your mind and make something of them while they're still fresh in your mind in a relatively short time. I don't see producing the next step being, or taking the next step as being a huge leap for anyone here. So let's try and aim for the middle of September for the next iteration of your work. And then there will be a to and fro between you as individual contributors, or chapter authors, and Sarah and me. We constitute together what in this document is called the editor. That is the two of us. And this is, I suppose, publisher legal speak. You are the contributors. And so together we will work towards the magic date of June 1st, 2015, which is final chapters. And that is really, that's got to be engraved in your cerebelli. That's it. But there are these other dates in between. So September 15th, then we will get back to you our blue pencil, as it were, versions, and by January 1st. Of course, we will be in conversation with all of you in the meantime to answer your questions, to maybe make suggestions, to goad a little, to be goaded ourselves by you, so that it isn't just a question of us leaving you to get on with it, although some of you might like to work like that. But we will be available throughout the whole process. Even if we seem to be running away, you can catch us. So, as I say, I'm well aware that all of you have busy summers, but please just at least set something down that can be the basis of your chapter by the middle of September, and that Sarah and I can respond to. Some of you are almost there with this.
And we should also mention, so we would like that next iteration by mid-September, and then we'll get back to you, as Ivan said, January 1st. But ideally, we would like your final draft before June 1st, 2015, which is when we'll be submitting it. So that's why when we've been corresponding with you, we've been talking about an April 1st, 2015 deadline, and that will give us a cushion if we need to go back and forth, or if you find that you might need extra time around April 1st. And so that's really the deadline that we're aiming for, to have those final contributions.
It's actually really silly of us to be showing you that June 1st date. Laurel.
Yeah, I mean, my question is about pictures, images, and our responsibility for that. And
Yes.
does June 1st say permissions for pictures? And I mean, that really determines for me how I'm going to write my essay.
Yes, I think I'm right in saying, and Nancy, please, you are the taskmaster here, and can answer these kinds of questions much better than I can. But it seems to me that it is up to us as the editor to make sure that all those permissions are together for submission to the press by October 1st, 2015. However, in order for us to be able to make sure that all of those permissions are together and ready to go to the press by October 1st, we would like them a little earlier than that. But I don't think that needs to be by June 1st, 2015. It can be a little bit later.
Have you given us a number of illustrations that are allowable?
I don't know that we've even decided.
We have a budget for dollars.
Yes.
And it really depends. We're encouraging people to get things that you either can get for free from your institution or for a reasonable price that is not going to, we cannot use anything from a picture agency. So, no Getty, no Corbis, things like that. If you have something in mind that you're having trouble with the permissions, let me know. We have some ways of getting alternative sources sometimes. If it doesn't have to be a particular object, there's sometimes ways around it. So, I would say you should suggest what is necessary and nothing extra.
Well, if for example, we're using our own photographs, our own field photographs,
Right.
so we could have as many as we want.
If it's necessary, yeah. If that I mean,
That'll be an editorial decision.
Maybe a photo
the
essay.
other thing that I want to mention is that the book is going to be in black and white, but the electronic version is going to be in color. So you can submit it both ways, or we can do the conversion. Usually we're better off doing the conversion ourselves because we have some magicians who are better at that than most of us are with Photoshop, but it is a good idea to print out the image in black and white just on your laser printer, just to see how it looks, to make sure the contrast is good, because otherwise medium green and medium blue and medium brown all become medium gray blob, and that's not good, and we don't want to find that out at the end. But if you're in doubt, write to Ivan and Sarah, or write to me, and we will try to help you. And Rebecca, who was here yesterday, who's my assistant, answers these questions all the time. So if I'm off at some other book conference, she will be there, manning barricades, and will help you.
Great. Ooh, lots. Let's start with Sarah.
Is there a suggested word count or size for
8,000
these?
words.
6,000 to 8,000.
6 to 8.
Yes, David.
Can you send us the specifications for requesting permission, like print run, size, etc.?
Is it in the contributor contract
I
in
didn't
the
see it.
guidelines that you got? If not, we can email it.
You can make sure you all have that again.
Okay.
Because you're asking for
permission.
print and
And you need to,
electronic.
it'll be world English rights or
Yes.
North American?
Well, we're
or-
all world if you can get it, but
Okay.
definitely world English. And if you get any trouble from people about they think it's an e-book, it's not an e-book,
Okay,
it's
that's good.
electronic, because we're talking about a a database that goes into Oxford Handbooks Online. It's not open web, it's not, high res that somebody's going to steal, so they shouldn't be trying to charge you what they might charge you on.
Good. Denise.
2 questions. Format for footnotes and endnotes, and
Should probably,
should or shouldn't we refer to other essays in the collection?
should not.
Should not.
So Chicago manual style, latest edition. Yeah.
What about foreign characters?
It's fine.
So we should.
If you need to use them, that's fine. We do it all the time. Particularly in Chinese, so.
Okay. It just makes the footnotes 3 times as long because you have,
Oh, I see.
because you have the opinion and the romanization and then the characters and the translation. So.
I think you should do whatever you think is most useful to the researcher.
Okay.
Good. Any other questions on this?
You said emphatically no corpus notation. Is that a budget reason or no? Okay.
Unless you'd like to mortgage your house, because I'm not volunteering mine, so.
Where's John Brown?
He's left. Leaving us to take the heat.
Shakespeare images are always free.
So the second thing that I wanted to mention briefly is that in the spring semester next year, spring 2015, I will be teaching a class here, a graduate class with a maximum of 10 students. We cap at 10 for all our classes on the preparation of this handbook, on the topic of this whole endeavor. So on history and material culture. And what I'm hoping to do is to draw on our discussions and your work in a shameless way. So what I'm hoping to be able to offer our students here is the opportunity to discuss your contributions, your chapters in progress, with them while you are still working on this. So this means 2 things. First, selectively, of course, and only with your permission, sharing your work in progress with students. Only in this class, it goes no further than them. That's the first thing. And the second, inviting those of you who might be willing to do this to join us for a session or part of a session of the seminar, either for those who can actually do it physically here in this building, or otherwise by Skype or Blue Jeans or however else this works. Yes.
So this entire schedule is built around you not having to write a syllabus?
That's I've always tried to do, throughout my career, I've always tried to do the absolute always kill as many birds with as few stones. So that's just a warning. Obviously, none of this will happen with the work that any of you wish to keep to yourselves, or that is within us as a group. If you don't want to share this with a number of graduate students at this institution, that's of course that we'll respect that absolutely. But I hope that enough of you will feel that this is something that is so valuable will be valuable for graduate students to learn from, that this will work for you. Sarah.
Oh, and just very briefly, before we head up to lunch, we would love everyone to take a group photograph, something that we can share with Oxford, since we're all here together, we're all contributing to this volume, and it would be wonderful to have a record of that. So before we disappear to have another delicious lunch upstairs, it would be wonderful if we could all just briefly do that in here, in front of the...
Can we do that in here? With the light can be pushed up. Good. Good. So, yes. Dan.
But I have one of the things I'd really love to know, Ivan and Sarah, is what you think about the table of contents, because you devised it in the absence of the contributions. Mm-hmm. And I imagine, and it has a beautiful intellectual architecture to it, and I wonder whether the bricks have fit the architecture. So at some point, I think maybe I speak for other people. I'm wondering, I'd love to know what you think about how the contents fit. The form fits the content.
Yeah.
And the other thing I'm wondering about is, as this is in light of the syllabus comment, I can easily imagine you adjusting titles and perhaps even pushing papers around. So I'm curious. At some point it'd be good to talk about that.
I think we'll be in the best position to have just that discussion towards the end of the day in our final session. We'll be able to try out some other ideas. But I think it's right to say that Sarah and I are not wedded to this structure in its details. I think we probably do want to stick with the 5 themes, but that doesn't mean to say that things can't be shifted around, that we have to stick to these sub-themes. Not at all. We can adjust this. And of course, we very much want to have this as a topic of discussion in our final session today. Yeah. Thanks, Dan.